Good day everyone, my name is John Eric Cordero from Group 3 and I'm the reporter for today. My topic is all about philosophical foundation of education. Here the example of it. Number 1, progressivism. Number 2, essentialism. Number 3, reconstructionism. Progressivism is a theory that concerns to learning by doing. And by doing, the child learn best and pursuing their own interests and satisfying their own needs. Because progressivism believes that you have to do something, there's a change, there's a growth. Why to teach progressivism? Progressivist teacher teach to develop the learners in to become intelligent or enlightened citizen to democratic society because they believe that learners should be enlightened and intelligent to fully live now. And John Dewey viewed the school as a miniature democratic society because students could learn and practice the tools and skills for necessary for democratic living. What to teach to progressivism? Progressivist center curriculum should be focused to the student needs, experiences, interests, and abilities because they should be identified the basic needs and the relevant curriculum, and the teachers are more concerned with the learners the skill to cope the changes because progressivists believes and accept the impermanence of life and inevitable of change. Teachers expose the children or the student to the new scientific, technological, and social development, reflecting the progressivist notion that the progress and change is fundamental. And according to Ernsten and Hawkins, learning experiences should be included the cooperative behavior and self-discipline because this is both important for democratic living. How to teach the progressivism? According to Dewey and Kilpatrick, says that the leader of group activities wherein the teachers and student planned activities together, but teachers help student to locate, analyze, interpret, and evaluate data to formulate their own conclusion. According to Ornstein and Hankins, although the progressive movement in education encompassed in many different theories and practices, it was united in its opposition to the following traditional attitude and practices such as the authoritarian teacher. Number 2, excessive depends on textbooks method. Number 3, memorization of factual data and learning by excessive drilling. Number 4, statistic aims and materials that reject of notion of changing the world. Number 5, attempts to isolate education from individual experiences and social reality. And always remember to the John Dewey says that book learning is no substitute for actual experiences. Okay, the next philosophy is essentialism. Essentialism is a philosophy that advocates doing only what essential. This philosophy directed at reducing clutter is one's life. And according to Buckley and Koehner, essence precedes existence. Meaning, if you're destined to be such, no matter you do, you will end up to it. You will end up to become such. So, why teach essentialism? Teachers and administrators decide what is the most important for the student to learn without their interests, background, and learning style. Essentialism is a teacher-centered. Why? Because the teachers is the source of knowledge. Everything comes from the teacher. Their command should be followed. So, what to teach on essentialism? The role of the teacher is to teach learners the basic knowledge, skills, or values, or also known as traditional approach. Traditional approach or back to the basic approach that emphasize the basics skills and or the fundamental skills, the 4 R's, which is reading, writing, arithmetic, and right conduct. The teacher must make sure the student will acquire it, the four fundamental skill, because it would easy to them to acquire higher or complex skill. So, how to teach the essentialism? Essentialism teachers rely heavily on the use of prescribed textbooks. So that's why it emphasizes the mastery of the subject matter. The third philosophy, namely Reconstructionism. Reconstructionism is a center on the idea of constant change and emphasizes addressing social question. According to Ernsten and Hawkins and the other reconstructionists who have given a reconstructionist program of education which is emphasized the following. Number 1, critical examination of the culture, heritage of a society as well as the entire civilization. Number 2, security of controversial issue. Number 3, commitment to bring about social and constructive changes. Number 4, cultivation of planning in advance attitude that considers the realities of the world we live in. Number 5, enhancement of the culture renewal and internationalism. So, why to teach Reconstructionism? We need more emphasis on social-centered education that took to consider the needs of society and all the classes, and also to attain the social reform. What to teach in Reconstructionism? The curriculum focus on the student taking social action on the real problem. The Reconstructionism, like Pantani, Shane, and Toffler, says that the curriculum that emphasizes the cultural pluralism and internationalism and futurism. The student should be taught to appreciate the life in the world of many nations, like a global village with many different alternatives for the future. So, how to teach the Reconstructionism? Number 1, social issues are dealt through inquiries, dialogues, and multiple perspective. And community-based learning is utilized. Okay, let's proceed to the importance of philosophy in curriculum. Number 1, philosophy gives meaning to our decision and action. Those involvement with the curriculum development should be familiar with the contemporary dominant philosophy. Number 2, in the absence of clear cuts of philosophy, our curriculum plans and teaching procedures will tend to be inconsistent and will be confused. We must recognize the curriculums must constantly reflect on their curricular decision. We must to be based on changing student and change the society. A curriculum philosophy that is political and economically feasible and meets the demands of student and society should be used like philosophical terms. Under philosophical terms, philosophy, philo means love, sophos means wisdom. So philosophy means love of wisdom. And another example of philosophical term is metaphysics, the study of the nature of reality. And lastly, epistemology, theory of knowing which deals the nature learning itself. Number 2, axiology. Axiology is concerned with the value. Axiology has two areas, which is ethics and aesthetic. Ethics is deal with the moral values and appreciate the conduct, while the aesthetic consider values in the beauty and art. And number 3, the logic. Logic is addressing the rules of correct and valid thinking and consider the role of inference that we use to frame proposition and arguments. Logic has two types, which is deductive and inductive logic. Deductive logic moves from general statement to particular instance and application, while the inductive logic moves from particular instance and application to generalization.